I got this Aborigine shit going on in the background. I hope y'all don't mind. Just my niggas going off. My niggas going off back here. Hold on. But yeah, so back to this Hermetic philosophy. So basically with these philosophies, there are 7. And it's basically saying if you know these 7 principles of truth. See, the whole reason I started reading this Kybalion, I'm gonna tell you, I heard this dude, nah, yo, we got time today, cuz. Hold on, we got time? We got time. So I remember it was this dude. I used to listen to a podcast back in the day. This shit was about like 13 years ago. It was this lady. She probably still got a fucking show. Shout out to Beverly D. Beverly D had this show, and she used to have different people on there. And what was the name of the show? It was on Blog Talk Radio. It was back in the day, and it was called, her show was called like Truth to Power or something. And she had a dude on there named, I think his name was Renee Hamilton. Now Renee Hamilton, he used to, now I don't know about what he was selling. He used to have some stuff that he was selling. I don't know how great some of his products were, but I'll tell you this much. He had said something that I will never forget. I will never forget this shit. This shit, you know how somebody can tell you some shit and it's almost like it didn't hit me until 10 years fucking later. It wasn't even like he said it and I was like, damn, that's big or something. It was almost like, It's almost like one of the things like, that shit had to fermentate, putrefy, and over time, it hit me. When I came to look for truth, I wanted to know. I went on this little quest, looking for truth. Wanted to get to the truth of some shit, and when I went on this quest, it started to dawn on me almost like it's like this should be stored in your subconscious. And the shit Renee was saying had popped back up in my head. And I hadn't listened to this show in like 10, 13 years. And the shit he was saying had popped back up into my head. And he was talking like, the truth is the truth because it doesn't change. That's what the truth is. And I was just like, damn. So it was that one, and it was another one I was hearing somewhere too. And it was talking about change is constant. And I don't know if I was hearing that from some like science, maybe that's in like a science community or somewhere in like physics, on a physics show or something like that, where they were talking about change is constant or some shit. And so I before I've read this Kybalion, I already had it in my head. I knew 2 things. The truth doesn't change. That's why it's the truth. And for everything else, change is constant. The truth doesn't change. That's why it's the truth. And change is constant. These 2 things are basically what I started with before reading this Kybalion shit. So going into this Kybalion, let's just see, because we're gonna go into this shit. So the title of this shit is the Kybalion, Hermetic Philosophy. This is by the 3 Initiates. This is the Centenary Edition, and just going in now. I've been on some spaces, and some people like to separate. Some people like to separate the Kybalion shit from other Hermetic materials. I'm not exactly sure why. Maybe they just feel like it's got its own space. The Kybalion really kind of has its own fucking little space. And I'm a cover. We're gonna get into Hermetic philosophy and all this shit. We're gonna get into all the other Hermetic texts, but we're gonna start with this one. We're gonna get into all the other ones, but we're gonna start with this one. And this one, This one, let's just crack this bitch open. I want to go over to some of the table of before we can get to table of contents, when you crack this shit open, it gives a shout out to Hermes Trismegistus. To Hermes Trismegistus, known by the ancient Egyptians as the Great and Master of Masters. This little volume of Hermetic teachings is reverently dedicated. Then it goes on into the table of contents. Table of contents contains an introduction to the centenary edition, just the normal introduction, then Hermetic philosophy, 7 Hermetic principles, which will be the basics of what I'm covering here today. Mental transmutation, the mental universe, the divine paradox, the all in all, the planes of correspondence, vibration, polarity, rhythm, causation, gender, mental gender, Hermetic axioms, and that's a little bit about the author. So let's start. We're just gonna dive into the 7 Hermetic principles, because we're just gonna dive into this shit. Because people, when I first heard this, again, I thought this was. I heard somebody say these are the laws of the universe, and these are the seven laws of the universe, the laws of laws of something. I don't know. I was hearing like the laws of the universe, I think, is really the main thing I was hearing. I'm like, what are these fucking laws of the universe that's on every fucking thing? Like, what is this? What is this shit? So, my curious mind, I had to jump in. So let's go over these 7 Hermetic principles. So, let's say the Kybalion. Let's say it's saying the Kybalion is organized according to the 7 basic principles, which it says form the basis of occult philosophy. So, if you was trying to get into this occult thing, you're a beginner, it would be best for you to start with a book like the Kybalion, because it forms the basis of all occult philosophy. If you are a beginner in occult philosophy, or you're a beginner in anything occult and just kind of jumping into shit a little curious, shit, I urge you to read this bitch if you're a Christian almost. But if you're a beginner in some of this occult shit, this is the basics of all occult philosophy. So let's go with the 7 principles. Basically, you start with number 1, mentalism. Number 2, correspondence. Number 3, vibration. Number 4, polarity. Number 5, rhythm. Number 6, cause and effect. Number 7, gender. So those are the basics. And I'm gonna cover them. I'm gonna talk about each one a little bit in depth. But basically, what it's saying, those are the basics of what all this occult shit is founded on. This book. This Kybalion, how do they label? He got there's something in here. Okay, I want you to get this. Now, again, I want you remind you, I was looking for truth. I was looking for, again, I was keeping in mind, the truth doesn't change. And so if you look around and you keep seeing the same thing, that must be a truth. If you look around and you see different shit, you can see how big the truth is. And you can see where the truth breaks down. So I was also under the understanding of truth is based on Zoom. So, how truthfulness of a thing is based on how much can I zoom out and the truth hold up. This mindset came to me with astrology specifically, because if I go to Jupiter, all this astrology shit falls apart. If I go to a different planet, all this shit falls apart, which made me start to wonder how fucking truthful that shit really is, you see? And so if my perspective changes, all that astrology shit falls apart. So it's only true if we on fucking Earth. And that's how big the truth is. It's an Earth truth. If I go to fucking Uranus and fucking say, okay, what about this astrology shit? All that shit falls apart because all that shit is different. So what's true for Earth might not be true for Uranus. See, what's true for you might not be true for me. See what I'm saying? How everybody. So these are these unique truths to things. These relevant truths. We're gonna get there though. We're gonna get there. So that was what I was learning. So truth is based on a zoom. Okay, so let's get back. I digress. Back to this fucking Kybalion. So it's saying the 7 principles of truth are 7. He who knows these understandingly possesses the magic key, before whose touch all the doors of the temple fly open. The Kybalion. This statement is profound to me because it's saying basically, if you learn this shit, this is the magic key. This is the master key. You want to understand, you shit been feeling mysterious to you. You can use these ain't even just, this shit really is a key. Cause I feel like anything, you get to use this shit on everything. You get to use this Kybalion shit on everything. You get to use this shit on everything. And so what's hot about this shit is that this shit kind of unlocks all the doors of the temple. All the shit you was wondering about, you get to use these shits in conjunction or individually on whatever it is you studying, on whatever it is you trying to figure it out, on whatever it is you looking to know. The 7 principles are mentalism, correspondence, vibration, polarity, cause and effect, and gender. The principle of mentalism. The all is mind. The universe is mental. The Kybalion. So basically saying the all is mind. It's this principle embodies the truth that all is mind. It explains that the all, which is the substantial reality underlying all the outward manifestation and appearances, which we know under the terms of the material universe, the phenomena of life, matter, energy, and in short, all that is apparent to our material senses, is spirit, which in itself is unknowable and undefinable, but which may be considered and thought of as an universal, infinite living mind. So this is what it's talking about with the principle of mentalism. It's basically saying, for lack of a better term, it's trying to say you living in the fucking thought of God type shit. And that's where that Hermetic shit come. Okay, now I see what the link is. That's where that Hermetic shit come from, because it's talking about the mind is all. Okay, yeah, I see the link now. Okay, I ain't got to crack this bitch open in a little bit, but I see the link. And that's the link, because the Hermetic should be talking about this. And we gonna get to that shit. We gonna get to that. We just not gonna cover too much right now. But see, this is just an introduction. This is like an introduction to Hermeticism. That's the best way I could describe this shit. This is like an introduction to Hermeticism. It's almost watered down a little bit, but it's still that crack. But it's watered down a little bit just so you can get some of this shit. So we're gonna keep on with the keeping on. What was that? Hold on, y'all. I need a bookmark or something. Okay, no, we back. Okay, so the principle of correspondence. As above, so below. As below, so above. The Kybalion. So this, again, this principle embodies the truth that there is always a correspondence between the laws and phenomena of the various planes of being and life. But in this basically is saying things are linked. Things are connected, is what this is saying. Things are linked. A correspondence is to almost to link up with something. Hold on, let me say, to correspond, to run almost parallel. What? Let me see if I can get a real definition. Let me get that real definition. We're going to go to the Merriam-Webster. Correspondence, the agreement of things with one another. Okay. A particular similarity, a relation between sets in which each member of one set is associated with one or more members of the other. So that's really what we're talking about. We're talking about things matching up. Correspondence it got to do with matching. Some shit matching up, some shit lining up. You can say it corresponds. So that's basically what this law is talking about, how things correspond. As above, so below. But so it's saying if some shit happening up there, it's happening down here. If some shit happening down here, you know it's happening up there. That's what this is saying. That's what this is saying. So that's saying a lot now. Okay, we gonna come back to something. Matter of fact, I'm gonna cover each one of these individually. I'm gonna do a whole fucking breakdown on correspondence, a whole breakdown on fucking Niall. We're gonna talk about all this shit. Okay, the next one, the principle of vibration. This states nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The Kybalion. Nothing rests, everything moves, everything vibrates. The Kybalion. This principle embodies the truth that everything is in motion, everything vibrates, nothing rests. Facts which modern scientists endorse and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. So this is what I was saying. I was hearing something about change is constant. That I don't know. That might be an Einstein quote or something. I don't know where I heard that at. I don't know where I heard that at. But this is what it's saying. Look, it's telling you. Modern science endorses and which facts which modern science endorses and which each new scientific discovery tends to verify. Nothing rests. Everything changes. Everything moves. Everything vibrates is what this shit is talking about. Okay, the next principle. Principle of polarity. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Opposites are identical in nature but different in degree. Extremes meet. All truths are but half-truths. All paradoxes may be reconciled. The Kybalion. This principle embodies the truth that everything is dual. Everything has two poles. Everything has its pair of opposites, all of which are old Hermetic axioms. Now, see, this principle is fire. See, once you know that polarity must exist, once you start seeing it in everything, once you see a thing, you will long for its opposite. These opposites provide the balance. So I ain't gonna get into it. We're gonna talk about so when you see polarity, this fire, everything is dual. Knowing everything is dual, everything has poles, everything has its pair of opposites. If you see some shit that don't got no opposite, you know it's some bullshit. You know it's some bullshit if you can't find its opposite of a thing. Somebody comes to you and shows you some shit and you can't, and now again, these are principles of truth, right? These are principles of truth. So if you're trying to get to the fucking truth, you can use this. Now remember, we talking about principles of truth. You can use this principle of polarity, knowing that everything is dual. If someone presents to you this singular thing, you know that it must come with a counterpart. It has to. So if somebody says some shit, and it don't got its opposite, you know, it's some bullshit. I always like to say depression is some bullshit because it don't got a fucking opposite. People are like, I'm clinically depressed. But you've never heard of the person who's clinically happy. See how depression don't got no fucking opposite, and that's how I know it's fucking fake. That's a trap. Somebody got your ass trapped and you fell for that. You want to be in that trap. That's a trap you want to be in. You chose that shit. You chose that weak shit. So look for the opposites and shit. If you can't find the opposite, that's how you know it's some bullshit. Depression, that bullshit, because it don't got no opposite. I'll challenge anybody on that shit. Shit don't got no fucking opposite. Clinically, I'm clinically happy. I just can't fucking come down from this shit. Shit don't got no fucking opposite. Clinically, I'm clinically happy. I just can't fucking come down from this shit. Yeah. I'm clinically happy. I just can't come down from this shit. Yeah, right, nigga. Everything is dual. Everything has poles. Everything has its pair of opposites. Like and unlike are the same. Jesus and the devil. Make you wonder sometime. Think all those things is bad. It's opposite. Whatever it is, love and hate. Evil and good. Think about all these things as this got these opposites. It's saying they the same thing. That's what this saying. It's saying hot and cold is the same. It's saying when we talking about hot and cold, we talking about temperature. It's saying we talking about good or bad, we talking about moral. It's saying when we talk about up or down, left or right, we talking about direction. You see? So there's look for the opposites in things. I forgot the dude. There might have been some Greek dude who said he tried to give credit to for discovering opposites. Niggas didn't even know what fucking opposites was. The principle of rhythm. Everything flows in and out. Everything has its tides. All things rise and fall. The pendulum swing manifests in everything. The measure of the swing to the right is the measure of the swing to the left. Rhythm compensates. The Kybalion. So basically what this is saying in so many words, and let's go into the principle. This principle embodies the truth that in everything there is manifested a measured motion, to and fro, a flow and inflow, a swing backward and forward, a pendulum-like movement, a tide-like ebb and flow, a high tide, a low tide, between the two poles which exist in accordance with the principle of polarity described a moment ago. So basically it's saying whatever goes in has got to come out. Whatever goes up, you heard this before. Whatever goes up must come down. Whatever's pretty, gotta go ugly. You heard this. Shoot, whatever's ugly, gotta go pretty. See how you can use this? Okay. Maybe there's enough of that. All right, so we finna go to the principles of cause and effect. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. The Kybalion. That shit is okay. So that's kind of fire. Every cause has its effect. Every effect has its cause. Everything happens according to law. Chance is but a name for law not recognized. There are many planes of causation, but nothing escapes the law. The Kybalion. This principle embodies the fact that there is a cause for every effect, an effect for every cause. Yeah, that's cause and effect. You heard of this. Now I'm gonna tell you, I've heard people say, because they got cause and effect. This is basically it's the sins. It's shit like the sins. It's the shit like fucking karma. It's shit like the sins ain't nothing but cause and effect. Like if you was to do all that shit back in the day, it probably would kill you. To be gluttonous and fucking and all these the 7 deadly sins. those things probably would kill you, versus if you did the opposite of those things, might bring you life. This cause and effect. Sins ain't nothing but cause and effect. The karma shit. You do something good for it, and good gonna come back to you. That's cause and effect. You do something for someone nice, and they bring you something nice back or something. That's cause and effect. You know what I'm saying? You slap somebody and you get your ass slapped back. That's cause and effect. Yeah. So that's even this secret shit. What's the secret shit talking about? What was they talking about in The Secret? It's all about your fucking intention, putting your mind towards some shit. Law of attraction. That's what it is. The law of attraction, and you attract what you think about most. That's cause and effect. That's really under this. All of them shits fall under this law. This is the master law that gives you all these other sub laws. These smaller laws come from this master principle of cause and effect. That's a master principle. Cause and effect right there. Let's see, the principle of gender. Gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. The Kybalion. Okay, so it's basically saying gender is all around, and you'll start to see this shit. These opposites are almost gendered, if you will. And it's almost like these principles almost build on top of each other. You see what I'm saying? That's why I start you off with mind, because all of this shit, you can't understand none of them shits without mind is the foundation. That's why it was number one. Okay, the principle of gender. This principle embodies the truth that there is gender manifested in everything. The masculine and feminine principles ever at work. You can watch a children's cartoon and Salt and Pepper are male and female. What was that? That was Blue's Clues had Salt and Pepper were goddamn male and female. This shit is everywhere. Your fucking plugs, male and female, all the connections, any connection you make with any plug, connector, male, female. You see what I'm saying? A lot of these things, and they seem to be opposites of each other. Your penis and your vagina are opposites of each other. One want to go in, one want something to go in, and the other one want to go in too. Look, they opposites of each other. One want to go in, one want to come out. And when you put them shits together, you get some fire shit. So basically, them is the 7 principles. Let me see. Where do we go through them all? Them is the 7 principles. We're going to go into each one of these individuals, but I just wanted to give y'all the mental, or just to give y'all the basics of some of these 7 hermetic principles, because I don't know if people know even that fucking much. Just the true, what it's talking about, the 7 hermetic principles, this is them. This is them. And with these motherfuckers, with these shits, the keys, what did it say? The doors of the temple fly open. With these motherfuckers, the doors of the temple fly open in this bitch. So the principles of truth are 7. Use these shits.